Today we're sitting with Anna Lilia, who is an amazing breathwork coach, facilitator extraordinaire, and intuitive healer. Anna has been doing these lunar breathwork and sound baths that both Sam and I have been to, and they've been really powerful. And so we were just so excited that you are like totally willing to spend this time talking to us and sharing your journey with us.
Of course. I'm so happy that you've enjoyed them. Yeah. Our lunar ceremonies. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of doing them.
I saw that. That's so
Wow.
exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How have they been growing?
So the idea actually came from one of my private clients who had just moved to the house in Silverlake, and he has this big backyard, and he's like, if you ever want to use this space, like I really want to open it up to the community and just have people gather. I think it's really important, especially, given the times. And I'm like, all right, like basically if you offer me anything, I'm like, let me do it.
Hell yeah.
I already knew Dominic, who's one of the most powerful sound healers that I know here in LA. He's really just another level. He's a shaman as well and an incredible healer. So I reached out. I'm like, hey, do you want to do these lunar ceremonies in a backyard? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it last October, I believe was our first one in 2018. And every month, even when it's cold and kind of misty, like people still show up. And it's a good sized gathering. We get anywhere between 20 to 40 people. I think that's like the largest that we've had.
Wow.
And all different types of people. People come alone. People come with a group of friends. People come and celebrate their birthdays with us. We've had several of those. And it's been really beautiful just to see people come, usually feeling not so great when they show up. We always try to open up the space and have people share, and people are going through life stresses, and it's so beautiful to see the transformation that happens in the short hour and a half, where afterwards you just see their eyes sparkle. It's almost like there's life again in their body. And when they share that they just feel really clear about things, or that that's what they needed, and just so grateful. I mean, it just makes me so happy.
Wow.
Yeah, your ceremony, I think, was, to Ellen's point earlier, probably one of the best group ceremonies that I've ever participated in, and I couldn't believe the sound bath afterwards. I was like, I don't know where I went, but that was awesome.
Yeah, and they're really simple too.
Yeah.
Dominic and I we just show up and we just hold space, and for us it's really important to just let you as well do the work and receive. So there isn't a lot of like fluff, as I call it. Sometimes you go to events and there's a lot of talking. And I'm the type like, I think that's one of the reasons why I love breath work. Like I really just want to get to the work and do it and feel different. And the combination of breath work and sound bath is just...
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so powerful because breathwork is so active, and it can be triggering and, release a lot of emotions and move things. And then to really have a long period of time where you're able to rest and integrate the work you just did, also just continue to receive medicine from the vibration. Yeah, people go to outer space,
Literally.
to they don't know where. Like, for a lot of times people also describe it as like they felt that it was such a short amount of time. They're like, whoa, like it's done already.
Yeah.
So it's been a really beautiful combination. And I've also started to explore more to incorporate it for myself in my practices. I did a training this last year for sound healing and started to collect some bowls.
Amazing.
And so in my private sessions, I have been using them, and it's just a really nice way to integrate the work and have them rest.
I love that. I've been doing the same also. And I've noticed, like, I've kind of done like my own little test study, the breathwork sessions that have it and the breathwork sessions that don't. And it doesn't like make the breathwork session any less powerful. But I've noticed that when I do integrate the bowls or a little bit of sound healing afterwards, it's a next level kind of experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to, I actually really don't know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but I just know that it kind of works.
I think it just really helps people to enter into a deeper relaxation. And really just shut off the analytical mind.
Yeah.
So they're able to rest, or they're not sleeping, but, connections in that state where you're able to get really clear and make connections and get inspired. And it's fun. Love it.
So you probably noticed that breathwork has really started to kind of grow as a practice, and I'm seeing it now in different meditation studios are offering it. Some yoga studios are offering it. Private practitioners like yourself, And I'm curious. Maybe we could take a step back because there's so many different things that people call breathwork.
Right.
So what's the type of breathwork that you do?
So I do the 2-stage breath, the pranayama. It's 2 inhales through the mouth. The first inhale from the diaphragm, so your belly will expand. Second inhale from your chest, and then you exhale. And you do that for about 20 minutes. So that's really oxygenating your body. It's releasing endorphins. It's allowing your body to vibrate and to shed stress, physical stress in your body. It's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And the way that I do it, I've also have taken other trainings in healing modalities. So I've incorporated other tools as well, from Reiki to even theta healing to, I was in a clairvoyant school actually for about 1.5 years. So also being able to tune into the group's collective energy, or one-on-one, like actually having a communication with my client's soul and having more precise information for them on what to access, which has allowed me and my clients to just really have accelerated healing. But the breath work in itself, it's powerful. It's something that you can do on your own. It's not going to be the same, obviously, if someone is holding space for you, because your mind will probably wonder and you'll start to think about the stuff that you have to do or you haven't done. But I also just like to use it as a quick way to feel energized because you are oxygenating your body. So then you become more alert. So it's another great way to use breath work in addition to like that deep healing.
How do you do it for yourself at home? Or like, do you do 1 song, 2 songs, or
yeah, is there a playlist? That's always the key for me.
Yeah. I actually did make a 10-minute playlist. So that I've also have recorded a 5-minute meditation. So it's kind of weird listening to myself guide me, but I know that feeling. Or actually, I'll just set my timer on my phone and I'll just breathe until it rings, and then I'll just do gentle breathing until I'm ready to come back.
Yeah. I'm curious, do you do that before you meditate or after, or do you just do that in isolation?
So that type of breathing, I do it whenever I'm feeling low on energy.
Okay.
Or basically like if I'm feeling low on energy, if I need to like boost whatever, I do that breathing. Sometimes it's even like a quick 1 minute, like before classes, if I've been running around, or in between clients, just to kind of like shake my energy. So that's how I use that. For the longer form, do I do it by myself? No, not the breath work. I will either go to a class or do an exchange with a fellow breathwork facilitator or something like that, do a trade. We hold space for each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to ask, actually, how did you find breathwork?
I found it, it's been over 5 years, and I was already dabbling in the healing world. As I mentioned, I was really into theta healing and hypnosis.
What is theta healing?
So theta healing is a type of healing where you enter into a meditative state where you're in the theta brainwave. So it's similar to hypnosis, where you're like reprogramming and accessing your subconscious. You do it with a facilitator, with a practitioner. And so it felt a lot like therapy as well. They're asking you a series of questions to basically get to the root of your stressor, your problem.
I see.
And then they help to channel downloads to reprogram that belief.
Oh,
so it's a lot of belief work. So we do a lot of muscle testing with it as well to see if that belief resonates or not, just to fine tune to get to like that core. So it was really fascinating and fun. And when I first started to do it, it was a lot of work around childhood trauma. So I had started to do that. And then I was in psychotherapy as well. And my initial healer, I don't even know what modality she does, but basically it was my awakening, where I felt in the session with her that I was levitating. My body was involuntarily moving. Everything that she was saying resonated. And then I got home and I'm like, let me see if I can do it by myself.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I come home after a session like that and I'm like, I'm going to lay on the ground and see what will happen. Well, the exact same thing happened, where I laid on the ground and my body was like shaking back and forth. I felt like my legs were being stretched. And so then I was just asking, I'm like, what is happening? And I heard like these little angels saying, oh, we're aligning your back. It was weird shit.
What?
Weird shit. But I loved it. I was like, this is crazy, but I am feeling so great right now.
Wait, how did you do that though? You just laid on the ground and imagined it?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It like doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, I had such a profound initial experience. And actually my healer at the time, she told me, she's like, you could do what I'm doing. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, this is weird. And then like, that was almost 7 years ago. So that was a while ago. And then here I am now doing something similar. Yes.
So how did that actually transition to breathwork?
Tangent. So then I was just feeling very stressed out and overwhelmed with life. And I was in a relationship where I just felt super unhappy and I didn't know if we should break up or what. Also with my work, I was working as an actor, as a commercial actor. But also I was super involved in my union and I was volunteering. I was part of a ton of committees and I was part of a negotiating committee. And so I was like really, really involved. But I also wasn't feeling like my voice was being heard or respected. I was really frustrated and just sad. And I felt really lost. And basically I just felt like I was constantly walking around life with like this rainy cloud in my head. And so because I'm such a curious person, I was just interested in trying different things. And I came across my first breathwork class at House of Intuition in Echo Park. Didn't know what it was. And there's a small group of us. We were told to lay on the ground. There was music that was played. We did this crazy breath. And I was sobbing the whole time, like with uncontrollably, like the ugly cry with snot and everything coming down. And then my hands were like cramped up and I couldn't move them. And I'm like, what is happening to me? But at the same time, I just let myself feel it and let the tears roll down and not worry that I was in public with strangers on a ground in Echo Park. And then afterwards, I felt incredible. Like, I felt so much lighter and this rainy cloud went away because when I stepped outside, the sky looked brighter. Like all of the colors looked brighter. I'm like, what just happened to me? So of course, again, I get home and I tell my partner, I'm like, lay down on the ground. I'm going to show you this breathing technique. And that was literally the first time that I facilitated.
Oh my God.
We started to do it
Very first breath
after
work.
my first breath work. Yes. I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but I did this breathing and I think you should do it too. So he lay down and he started to breathe. And he also was like crying and feeling on this stuff. And he's like, I don't know, this is like way too intense. So I was hooked. And I just continued to go to these classes for myself because I was feeling so much better. And
How
then
often would you go at that
this
time?
girl was holding them, I think, once a month.
Okay.
I was basically just following her around and still doing all the other stuff. During that time, that's when I did a training in theta healing. And then shortly that same year, that's when I did my training for breathwork.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to, what I loved about breathwork as well is that you are able to hold space and help a lot of people at one time. And theta healing is more individual. And I loved how practical, and also what I loved about breathwork and still do is that I felt empowered. When I was breathing, I was getting messages and I was seeing things and hearing things. And I love going to healers and getting validations and readings, but when you get the information for yourself, by yourself, like that's a whole other level. And so I really loved that. And that's why I wanted to learn how to hold space and help other people do the same. So I've been working with people for 4 years now, and it's become full time now because at first, I was still doing the acting and auditioning quite a lot. I mean, I did commercial acting for 10 years or more. But that industry has changed a lot as well. And I also was just frustrated where I felt disempowered with it. And I was tired of not having control of when I was going to work and felt like I was being judged by how I looked. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel good anymore. And this was just lighting me up, and just seeing the transformation in people, even after just one time breathing, was just so amazing and fulfilling. And I'm like, I want more. So here we are.
So you do one-on-one sessions now as well as group sessions. Which one do you prefer, and why, I guess? And what kinds of dynamics do you have to deal with when you're working with larger group sessions?
So I don't have a preference. They're very different, actually. Group sessions, you just never know. So I prefer when I'm fully hosting or in charge of the event or the class. It's very challenging at a studio. I work out of 2 studios. Just because you have only 45 minutes, there's all these rules. It's a constant turnover of people, which is fine, but it's just in terms to facilitate fully the way that I would like to, there's limitations. So with that as well, a lot of times you have people who walk into a class that don't know what they're walking into. So I've had several people walk out in the middle of the class.
Like in the middle while everybody's breathing?
While everyone's breathing.
Whoa. Like they just didn't understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably at this point, maybe like 10 people who leave. And that's fine. I mean, I don't take it personally or anything. At the beginning, it was a little surprising. And it's like, did I do something wrong? Or like, totally. What? But no, I totally get that breathwork can be very confrontational and it forces you to be in your body. And a lot of us are not willing to or ready to be. And so I no longer take it personally. I've had other people as well mention that they didn't want music playing. I'm like, well, that's the whole big part of it.
Yeah, so, I've never heard of that.
It's just that, but that's again, it's at a studio when you're just getting people who have the 2-week introductory and they're just like taking whatever. And of course, like you're going to, you're going to like come across a class that it doesn't resonate with you. And for some people, they can't stay for the full 45. And so they get up and leave. So that's a little bit more challenging. But even through that, like I have met really incredible people. So when I do my own sessions, usually it's people who have either been following me for a while on Instagram and kind of already get my vibe. or their friends have talked to them about me or something like that. So the people that show up, I feel, are a little bit more prepared to have an experience, or at least more open, so that we tend to go deep. And in a group session, it's fun for me because it's the collective energy that I'm feeling. So it's not everything that I say. So in a group session, I am also, as a clairvoyant, either seeing or hearing things. And it's what the majority of the group is showing me. So sometimes, what I say isn't going to resonate with everyone. But then there's other times where people are like, I felt like you were in my head every time that you opened your mouth. You said everything that I was already thinking about. So again, that's just another form of validation. So that's really fun. And it becomes super powerful. And also, an invitation for people, because sometimes you'll hear your neighbor crying and it's almost like people are like, oh, okay, it's safe for me to release or to like vocalize what's coming up. So that's really beautiful to see, just like people helping each other out as well. And then I always invite people to introduce themselves at the end and just meet a neighbor and share their experience. And that really brings so much joy to me when people just start to get to know each other and then they see each other the next month. And they start to, because I do have several events, not only my lunar ceremony, but my new moon circle, that are monthly. So I have a lot of regulars that come and then they come back and report what happened in the month. So that's really fun for me. And then for the privates, I really love the privates because I see the transformation in an individual. Most of my privates are, well, I have people that come to me like once a month, but I like working with people with my Reset program, which is a 6-week breathwork coaching program. That's virtual, so you can be anywhere and work with me. So women come to me usually with a problem or a goal that they want to work on. And it's mainly stress, anxiety, depression. But deeper than that, they're either having problems in their marriage or at work. They like hate their job. They're ready for a transition. They've been wanting to launch their business, but are afraid. Sometimes there's physical manifestations of the stress as well, feeling just super lost moms, they've lost touch with their desires. And so with that program, we do weekly 1.5-hour sessions where we get to the root of the stressor. And so it's been powerful to make them realize, whoa, this anxiety that I feel actually comes from the time where this happened in my childhood. Like I just had a client realize that she also has her own small business and she's always described herself as being shy, and she has this anxiety when new people come to her for her services. And so in her session, what came up as I guided her to call in her inner child, and I was seeing that her inner child was afraid of strangers, especially men. She remembered that when she was in elementary school, she was almost kidnapped.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's like a really extreme example. Yeah. But her making that connection gave her, she literally told me, she's like, I feel so empowered now that I know that this anxiety that I feel when strange men come and they're just like potential customers that I feel like I'm shutting down, that it's coming from this time or this experience that I had.
Wow.
And so she now feels like she's in control. And when she's starting to feel that anxiety, she has tools now to like manage it, to like let her little girl know that she's safe, they're going to be okay. And for her, it's been like life-changing, So that's what I really love about Reset, is that we're able to really go deep, and my clients just having huge realizations in a really short amount of time. I mean, within 2 weeks, I'm already seeing a change in their energy. Like when they come back, I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you? You look so much lighter. What's going on? From women who were ready to divorce by the end of us working together, they're like, we're doing so great, like completely connected again. And in addition to the breath work that we do, I also provide them with meditations, personalized meditations. So they have takeaways at the end for them to listen to in between the weeks.
So you record for them?
So I record meditations to support them in between our weekly sessions. And then they also get a reflection email. So I summarize what came up in their session for them to further integrate the work. Because as you've experienced, a lot can come up in breath work while you're breathing. And so after we do the breath work, we share with each other like what I saw in their space, what came up for them, and then I type up an email with that information. Then that's also a great way for them to track their progress and to see how far they've come. But in addition to these like intense realizations that they've made, also they have manifested like dream homes. I had another client that recently got engaged, and it just, once you start to do this work, it just moves your energy and it starts to open you up, and everything in your life starts to change, including your relationships. And they don't even have to do any work, like just because you're showing up differently and not taking personally when they're acting not so compassionately towards you. You're like, okay, they're really stressed out right now and it's not really about me. So let me just mirror them or hold space or like ask them what's really going on. And just with that, it's like, whoa, I can't believe that. Like now I'm getting along with my partner, or I'm talking to my son again, or like really huge things.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
The power, it seems to me, like, just even my own work with breathwork, and not even necessarily as a facilitator, but just as somebody who's receiving or doing the work, the power really is in what you had just said a little earlier. You are the one doing the work. You are receiving these messages.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of coming through you.
Yeah.
And it makes it that much more powerful that, it's like the light bulb kind of goes on, and you're owning that that sort of realization in yourself, and you're finding the answer within yourself, And it's interesting to me because we've been talking to different people, and Sam and I, like, we have this like ongoing kind of, not debate, it's just more of like a discussion, East versus West, or alternative versus cognitive behavior, and I'm currently in marriage counseling with my husband and doing all that, but also trying to like do all these other things on the alternative side. And I'm curious, like, where you see the sort of cross section between the two, like breath work working in conjunction with like therapy, or
it's so much more powerful. I feel like in another life I would come back as a therapist while also incorporating these techniques, because it's that much more powerful, I think. I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I did a very specific type of therapy. It's called intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy. So that type is inviting you to be in your body and also notice like what's happening to your body when you are recalling memories or when you're talking about something that's happening in your life. And I found that really interesting. That's where it also kind of started. And from my therapist, I was also introduced to trauma release exercises, TRE. I don't know if you've heard of them, but basically they're different exercises that you do where you're fatiguing your muscles so that they get to the point where they are shaking. And so that is the release of the trauma. So naturally, we are able to do that. But as we've evolved, we have, stuffed all of that in. You still see it in animals after they've been frightened, they shake it out.
Exactly.
Well, at some point we did that as well, but we've just evolved so that we don't do that anymore. So we are just holding on to like generations of trauma in our body. And so this is just exercises where you're like leaning up against the wall in like chair position until you get kind of shaky, and then you lay on the ground, and then there's other positions and then your body starts to shake. And through that, you also start to release emotions. So powerful. When I've done that, I haven't really had any mental images or like connections or memories come up. It's just like the physical release. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge proponent of doing it all. I feel like just doing traditional Western or going to the doctor, it's with everything though. Whichever one, if you're just doing one, there's obviously going to be limitations, right? You're just accessing one type. That's why I'm a huge proponent of experimenting, trying everything, playing, seeing what resonates with you and what doesn't, and continuing to grow from there. They're a huge complement with each other. And so, yes, to all of it.
Can we talk a little bit about your playlists?
Yes.
Because I think something that makes you so powerful also as a breathwork facilitator and healer is just the playlist that you put together.
Oh, thank you.
And, you really do take us all on this kind of this journey, and they're just such an important part. So I'm curious, like, what your philosophy is or how your approach is to putting your playlist
I am
together.
always looking for music. So one of the apps that I always use on my phone is Shazam. I can be anywhere and I'm like, that's a good breathwork song. I'm watching TV. I'm like, that song. And so by now I have a really large connection, but every week I spend a lot of hours looking for music. And then from there, again, I tune into the energy of either my private client or the group that I'm going to facilitate at. And I start to make a playlist and I listen to it and I know just intuitively when a song is wrong. And so I take it out, I add another one, I move around the order. Yeah, the order of the songs. And sometimes even, because I never know who is going to show up for a group setting. And a lot of times, there's people that show up last minute. Even sometimes, like while you guys are breathing, I will take out a song or add a song, sometimes with a private client as well. But I don't overthink it when it comes to the music selection. I just like inside my body, it's just telling me yes, no. And I just really honor that. I'm to the point where I don't fight it. I'm like, okay, yes, I got to just trust the information that I'm being given. And it's so powerful. And especially when you're seeing people breathe to it. And as soon as a certain song plays and it'll just hit someone and they'll start to cry. Or sometimes I've been told as well with one of my private clients, my reset clients, that she's like, oh my God, that song that you played, that was my favorite song when I was 16. And during that time when I was breathing, I was connected with my inner teen. And this, how did you know? And I'm like, well, I didn't, but yay, I'm so glad it worked. So yes, I always tell people that the music is so intentional. I know there's some people that just use like the same playlists for multiple sessions. And to me, that just feels like you're cheating because it's not the same group. And to me, yeah, the music is just so, it's healing. I call it music therapy. Like that's how I treat it. And the words, the melodies, the everything, even during resting breath, when there isn't music, what type of instrumental sound are people going to listen to? Is it more like sparkly or I don't know, there's certain music that I feel like, oh, this is going to take them out to outer space, or this is going to bring them it feels more like a lullaby and it's just going to make them feel held. So yes, I love the music. It's one of my favorite parts about breathwork. And it also, to me, having music like this just makes it feel like a very modern and kind of like cool healing modality. Totally. Where even if it's also kind of distraction sometimes, I guess, but for people who are just so worried about the technique, or it is kind of a distraction for their mind as well, where they're able to like focus on something else, and so that they're not focused on the same like perfectionism or like worrying about failing or whatever loop their mind is in. So that's another reason why I really love the type of music that I use for breathwork.
I've heard different like opinions about this, and I still haven't fully made up my mind on which way I kind of follow. But some people tell me that like the words distract them because it feels like
I've definitely said that.
Oh, have you said? Okay.
Yeah, the words are super distracting for me.
But then, in some cases, I find that the words are really helpful for me, or, helpful for the people that are breathing with me.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, what your viewpoint is on, lyrics
Mm-hmm.
versus like just instrumental with like a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And.
No, I love lyrics.
Yeah.
And I have had plenty of people tell me that they found the music distraction.
Mm-hmm.
But, at the same time, I'm like, okay. And then they're like, but I'm looking forward to taking your class again. I'm like, that I'm going to play music with lyrics again, right? Just want to like check your expectations. Just because you told me you didn't like it doesn't mean I'm going to change it.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's not distracting in like a negative way. It's just distracting in that like I find myself listening to the song.
Yeah.
And so I've never had like transcendent experience or gotten like a download while doing breath work. And sometimes I wonder if it's because I find myself listening to the songs.
What about during resting breath when there's no lyrics?
No, not really. I've had a little bit of imagery, but probably the closest I came to, or one of the closest, was your workshop, actually, where during the sound bath. But after the sound bath, I was like, I have no idea where I went. Couldn't remember any of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a personal preference. There are some breathwork that it's just like really intense music,
Tribal,
right? I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, actually, I went to a conference at the end of last year, and that's the type of music that they played. And
it's very psychedelic kind of journey.
Yeah, it just felt a little I don't know,
emotionless,
kind of forced. I don't know. It was just kind of triggering for me, but that's fine. At the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling annoyed. Let me sit with this annoyance and see like what's at the root. So actually, whenever people, I don't say it to them, but if you are someone who finds it distracting or, I would go a little bit deeper with that distraction and see, is that just a way that's maybe you're keeping yourself in a comfortable place and not really allowing you to feel like, even if you're starting to get mad, let yourself feel mad.
Yeah.
If you're mad that this person is playing that song and you don't like those lyrics, like, feel that anger. That's great. That's what I mean about like when I play music, like it's inviting you to go on this journey and it's going to bring up memories and feelings and just like fully go with it instead of just being like,
That's actually a really good point because I've had friends tell me that they've gone to like a particular breathwork session and the music that particular facilitator had chosen was so off-putting to them that they describe it as like they were taken out of the moment.
Yeah.
However, I think the way you're talking about it makes 1,000% sense where it's like, okay, well, if it does take you out, ask why. Like, what is going on right now? And what is it? Maybe it's an avoidance thing.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's a tool that you can use for everything in life.
Yeah.
You can never be in control of everything.
True.
And so when you are stepping into a class, a breathwork class, or any type of class, you don't have control of what the teacher's going to say, play, do, how they're going to facilitate. And so if you find yourself feeling anything, go deeper in that and try to get to the core. That's where the power is.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you can make other connections outside of sessions like this, where you're like becoming triggered again. And then you have a reference point like, oh, I felt that way in this class. And because I allowed myself to go deeper, I realized that it reminded me of whatever time where so-and-so said something to me. And just having those nuggets of information, I think that's what really helps us to heal and just like not be so triggered.
Yeah. Do you believe that there's some certain people that breathwork just does not work for them?
So there's certain people that have so much trauma that, like physical trauma. I have one client, but she still comes to me often. She had like a physical paralysis that she got from a bad massage.
Wow.
And so from that accident, she had the tingling, the like numbness and the tingling, which is a feeling that you can have in breath work. So that's very triggering for her when she starts to feel it in breath work because she feels like she's going to become paralyzed as well. So she, one of the first times that she was working with me, and this is in a group setting, I also volunteer every other month at a cancer nonprofit called We Spark here in Los Angeles. And so I work with cancer patients, survivors, and their caretakers. And so she was part of that group. And she got so panicked from feeling her body, the vibration, and starting to go numb that she almost had a panic attack.
Wow.
So breath work, again, it can be very triggering for people. And so that's why as a facilitator, you really need to have enough practice when you're going out and just working with strangers, because you never know what people are going to show up with, to know how to manage a situation like that.
Right.
So, I was able to get her to a place where she felt like she could trust me and feel safe enough to know that she was okay. And she was okay, but she was just having this like flashback of that moment.
That's so specific.
Yes.
It's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So someone like her, she still comes, but I just have her do deep breathing, not just the 2-stage, so that she doesn't get too activated. So for some people, yeah, it's just too intense, and it's too intense for their nervous system. Just try it out. If it doesn't work for you, then okay, there's other more gentle or another modality that will resonate with you. For me, I like change and kind of like immediate change. And so that's why I love it, where like in an hour, you can just feel completely different. More so than just like normal meditating is great as well, but breathwork has this punch to it that really changes people's lives in a short amount of time. So that's why I like it.
Yeah.
Where do you think breathwork is going to head in the future? I mean, it's still, Ellen and I talk about this all the time. Like, it's still so new, even in some areas of Los Angeles, that it feels like there's a huge opportunity for this and for people, practitioners like both of you, to help sort of grow that community.
Yeah, I think it's just going to continue growing. And maybe modified, as you mentioned, there's so many different types of breath work, and just people being aware of their breath. I think it's going to grow because it's a simple way to help reduce stress and just to kind of let people reset and come back. And it's something free that you can do by yourself. And people are so stressed out that, yeah, it's like the simplest thing that we can teach people and kids and, nurses and anyone that's super high stressed. This longer form in the healing type of breath work, I think it will continue to grow. I don't know. Do you have any opinions on that?
I feel like I've seen it grow already just in the short amount of time I've known about it, And I think my very first breathwork session was at Unplugged back in 2016. And I had gone there just for a meditation. I thought it was literally, we're going to be like breathwork meditation.
Yeah.
We're just going to sit there and breathe really deep. I had no idea what I was stepping into. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane, And that was a very emotional experience for me. But at the time, crazy overburdened with stress. Like stress was like my number one reason to, to do anything like this. And so it definitely relieved some of it. I don't know if I had a, what I would call a spiritual experience, but it was shocking to me. It was shocking in a positive way where I was like, oh my God, I'm crying. Like what's happening? I must be releasing a lot of the stress that I have pent up. But fast forward 2 years to 2018, Sam and I did it with a breathwork facilitator named Andrea Ming. And that one was, I attribute to the session that blew open the doors, and I was able to reconnect to my father's spirit. And, that was the one I felt was like crazy transformative and took me on this path of like, I really want to be a facilitator. I think there's something to this. And the more I am, I guess, focused on breath work and the more I'm in this space, the more I'm seeing it spreading around the city even, and into like, I really want to bring it home to Houston where I grew up and like, but I was looking around when I was home for the holidays, and in a city like Houston, like it's a huge city, but for some reason, I just don't think that they would necessarily be on the same page as LA in terms of a lot of this stuff. But I was starting to see a lot of breathwork practices, you know, like
meditation studios.
Yeah.
Opening up.
Yeah.
I think just in general, just any type of meditation, it's going to continue to grow, whether it's in an app form or more brick and mortar studios or just like community gatherings, like until our world heals. Like we just need it to survive.
What do you think of bringing breathwork into the workspace?
I've done it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've gone to different corporations. It's always really interesting because they're not really set up for that environment. So they're like, would this work? And it's like basically their lobby. And I'm like, so, you know, people can get really vulnerable and cry. So is there like a different area where people aren't walking through while we're breathing? So that's been kind of funny. But no, it's great. I mean, if companies had more of us going into their offices, like it would completely change the dynamic of their work and the flow, and people would be more productive and kinder to each other. My sister works in fashion, and dude, there's like always so much petty drama. And I'm like, I'm like, can I go in and like facilitate? I have once, but I'm like, no, like everybody needs to just breathe and chill out and stop taking everything as a personal attack. You're just making clothes, people.
I know.
I know. That's something I feel like we're pretty passionate about too, though, because having come from advertising, it's so competitive and everybody is so mean to each other and everybody's stressed out and sleep deprived and sick. And, you know, it's like everybody's just stressed all the time. It's almost like the perfect incubator for stress.
Yeah. And then a lot of these bigger companies, they do actually have either a gym or like a space where people can do. And I know they have more like regular facilitators that go in. So that's amazing. Yes, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's an opportunity there to really change corporate culture, which to me it seems like that might be almost like the at least for the professional woman, like the start of where her stress, you know, or like maybe the foundation or core of like where her stress originates, and then it spirals out into all these other areas of her life. But and that's really generalizing, but I feel like if there's a way to bring some of these modalities and because breath work, I've just seen it work so powerfully into these spaces. I mean, I just feel like, it would just completely change the entire energy of like a group of people working together.
I know a girl that just launched a business as well. It's a meditation studio in a school bus that's converted.
Wow, that's cool.
And so it's called the Zen Stop. So they do go, like that's the whole point, where they're a mobile meditation studio. So they go to different companies and they pull out, I don't know, in front, and their employees go in and just sit and meditate for a few minutes.
Do you think the separation of being outside of the actual office is helpful?
Yeah.
I think it does allow people just to drop in a little bit deeper. But when I've gone in and we're literally still just doing it in the lobby, people are still like, whoa, I have no idea where I went. Like, and you know, it's like really bright lights and all of that. So I think it just depends on the type of meditation that's being facilitated at the job site.
Do you find that in the corporate, you know, breathwork sessions that people are a little bit more guarded? Like, I don't know how I'm trying to imagine back in my previous life of being in a breathwork session with some of my coworkers. And if I heard some of them just start crying, I would think like we might all be going crazy.
I think people do feel more comfortable if they are outside, and then also just removes them from like the place that's bringing a lot of stress to them. So if the office does have like an outside patio or whatever, you know, that's helpful. I feel like also companies should really take advantage of the fact that there's all these apps out there.
Yeah.
And even providing a free membership to their employees, I think could make like a really huge difference.
Like Calm or Headspace.
Yeah. So that they can like go outside for 5 minutes, sit in the sun, feeling like the warmth of the sun, but also like just listening to a relaxing meditation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that people could do it, but I highly recommend it. I mean, people are so stressed out, and especially then if you have to commute long distance and then head home to family life, it's a lot for the modern person.
Absolutely. This is part of the reason, actually most of the reason why Sam and I actually started Daughters and just, decided to leave our corporate jobs so that we can actually help other people who were burning out just the way we were. So all of this stuff now, I feel like that both of us have been dipping into, and the more modalities that we explore and the more that we're seeing in the space, they're not huge things that, that take up a lot of time and effort. They're just like little additional like practices, rituals, whatnot, that you can integrate into your life and integrate into the corporate setting, and I feel like there's a lot of potential there for
sure.
change. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, of course. I had so much fun.
Oh my goodness. This is excellent. This is like one of the ones I was looking forward to the most, just because I look up to you as a breathwork facilitator, and I've been following your journey with it, and I really hope that as I grow my own practice that maybe one of these days we'll actually like be able to collaborate on something.
Amazing.
Awesome.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
so
Ellen.
much.
Thank you, Sam.